Alright, so this is your Algebra 2, 1 through 70 review. Hopefully I do a better job with this than I did with the geometry review, and there's actually sound here. Start with question number 1. You can go down to the bottom of the document that's already been sent to you. You can look at the answers, you can look at the lessons. Number 1, we're going to start off by simply, if we're trying to solve for t, we're going to distribute everything back. So we're going to distribute our 6 over on our left-hand side, so I get 6t minus 66. Over here we do the same thing with 5, so we get 5t minus 30 plus 8t. Take that right hand side of the equation and combine like terms, so we got 6t minus 66 equals 13t minus 30 by combining our 5t and our 8t. Alright, let's see, at this point I would subtract 6t from 13t and add 30 to negative 66. Okay, that's going to leave me with negative 36 on the left-hand side equals what should be 7t. So we want to divide by 7. Okay, and that's going to end up being my answer for t is negative 36 over 7. So that's our answer to number 1, and that's how we would show our work. All right, hopefully a little bit more clear. You can use your box sheet and all the space that you're given for that. Okay. Number 2, we want to write an inequality for the graph. So we want to start off with our y-intercept. So we know that it crosses the y-intercept at 4. Okay, positive 4. If I'm counting from there, I'm going up 4 over what looks like 2, up 4 over 2. That's 4 divided by 2, so that should give me 2x. So we've got y, and it's not going to be equal to, it's just going to be less than or greater than. And we'll look and see on our 0, 0 here. We know that 0, 0 is not part of it. So if I had 0, I'd be looking for a false solution if I was going to use, let's say, okay, we want an answer that would be false. So we would want to say like 0 is greater than 4. That's not true, which means 0, 0 is not included. Now, if that confuses you, what you can do is you can use a set of coordinates that are in the shaded region. For instance, let's say negative 2, 2, in which case, this would be 2 times negative 2, and we would have 2 here. So if we wanted to say 2 is greater than, I'd have 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. 2 is greater than 4. So this equation right here, y is greater than 2x plus 4, should be my equation. Okay, let's see, I think we want to go back up here. Okay, it says divide 1 divided by n minus 6 over 6n, assume that all expressions are defined. Because we're taking a fraction and dividing it by another fraction, we're actually going to take, let's see, I'll move it down here, 1 over n and multiply it by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply it by 6n over n minus 6. Okay, that's going to give me 6n over n squared minus 6n, in which case if I look through here I can take an n out of every term, leaving me with 6 over n minus 6. Okay, that takes one n out of everything. That's my answer, 6 over n minus 6. Alright, number 4, write the matrix equation for the system. The matrix equation that they want for this is going to look like this. You're going to take that left-hand side of the equation. It's going to be negative 1, 3, negative 1, 2. We would multiply that by x and y, and that would be equal to negative 1 over negative 7. That's what the matrix equation would look like. Now, if I wanted to solve this, what I would do is I would do the RREF of this matrix right here and hit enter. So negative 1, 3, negative 1, negative 1, 2, negative 7. Let's come over to our graphing calculator and actually work that out. Second matrix, we want to edit, and we want this to be a 2 by 3. So we've got negative 3, 3, negative 1, negative 1, 2, negative 7. Oh. Okay. Second mode, second matrix, math, RREF, second matrix, matrix A, enter. Okay. Looks like I get negative 6 1/3, negative 6 2/3. Let's see. Did I miss? Oh, I see where I messed up. Alright, we need to go back in here. I made a mistake here. Okay, this should be negative 1. I don't know how I did that, but let's go back and fix it. It's not really too hard to fix. We'll hit second matrix. We'll go back over to edit. Come back in here. Change that to negative 1. That appears to be, looks like the only mistake. So we'll try this again. Second matrix. This is why you want to be careful when you're putting these together, that you're writing things down as they are. Okay. Alright, so our answer here is 19 and 6. X equals 19, y equals 6. Alright, we'll clear some of this stuff out. Let's come down to number 5. Number 5. Okay. We want to show that this is a parallelogram. Easiest way to do that first and foremost is to find the slopes of our lines. You go at AB. The only thing I don't like about this is it doesn't show you everything I kind of wish it did. On AB, like we have our coordinates here. That's coordinates of A are 0, 4. We've got 1, 0 down here. We've got 6, 2 there. And this one really, it probably should go up to 6. So it would be 5, 6. So if we're looking at AB, we'd say that AB equals 6 minus 4 over 5 minus 0. Okay, so that's giving me 2/5. Okay, so that's that slope. Let's see, CD. We want to see if that's going to be parallel. Okay, and all we're trying to do is show a parallelogram here. So we would do 2 minus 0 over 6 minus 1. Again, that's 2/5. So we know that A, B, C, and D are parallel. Okay, we need to go AD. Okay. AD is going to be 0 minus 4 over 1 minus 0. So that should give us negative 4 over 1, or just negative 4. Okay, and then BC. Okay, I'm going to do 2 minus 6 over 6 minus 5. That gives me negative 4 over 1. Okay, So we would say ABCD is a parallelogram because both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. And that's what we would use. Okay, that's number 5. Let's come down to number 6. Determine if the graph is continuous, discontinuous, and or discrete. Determine if it's a function or relation. Determine the domain and range. All right, so the first things first. It is continuous and not discontinuous because there's no breaks or pauses in it. Okay. It is a function. Okay. Is the graph discontinuous or discontinuous and or discrete? Determine if it's a function or relation. So we said it's continuous. We noticed that it passes the vertical line test. Okay. Even though it looks somewhat vertical in places like here and here, it's not truly vertical. So it is a function. So we can say it is a continuous function. Determine the domain and range. So our domain you'll notice refers to x values, and it's going to continue to go slightly left and slightly right on forever. So our domain is all real numbers. Okay. And our range, notice that it continues to go up and down. Okay, and presumably forever. Okay, because they don't stop it at all. So our domain and our range is all real numbers. So I'm hoping that you're reading this, or whether it's coming up as subtitles or you're listening to it and you caught that, because you won't see that written out there. Okay, number 7, pretty easy. We're just going to multiply by our denominator to rationalize. Okay, we're going to get square root of 26 over 2. Okay, and that's our answer. Nothing else there. All right. Let's see. An architect wants to create a rectangular room. Let's make sure that we're recording. Okay. An architect wants to create a rectangular room in a house. He wants to have a total area of 315 square feet. It should be 8 feet longer than it is wide. What dimensions should be used for the room? All right. Okay, let's start off by drawing a picture. Okay, there's his rectangular room. Area is 315, 8 feet longer than it is wide. So we're going to have W, because we don't know what our width is, and we're going to have our W plus 8, okay, which is our length. So our length is W plus 8. All right. From here, we know that length times width get area. So we're going to do W times W plus 8 equals 315. Distribute W squared plus 8W equals 315. At this point, we have a quadratic equation, or could have, so we're going to subtract 315. So I'm going to move that over here. W squared plus 8W minus 315 equals 0. Now, there's a lot of things, let's see, that we could break up here, where we would see this, where we'd have a W plus and a W minus, things to get 315. Let's see. But it's probably going to end up coming out more complicated than that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our quadratic equation. I'm going to erase this picture right here, our quadratic formula. So we're going to do negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 315 all over 2 times 1. Okay, it might take a second to get that because I'm going to erase this one down here. Okay, we're going to try to solve this as we go. I'm just going to take my personal handheld calculator so you won't see this on the board. But 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 315 actually comes out to 1,324. So I've got, let's see, help me out here, negative 8 plus or minus the square root of 1324 divided by 2. Okay, well, we can try to take 1324 and reduce it down. It probably will reduce. Let's divide that by 2. We got 662. 2, 331. Boy, I don't know. What we might be better served with, though, if we're looking for our answer, right? So I want you to keep in mind here, we've got negative 8. We're going to be dividing this by a positive. So let's take 8, okay, plus the square root of 1324, okay, and divide that by 2, and that's going to give me 14.19 for my width. Now, if I took negative 8 and I subtracted, I'm going to get a really big negative number, and I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to get a negative number. And the reason I'm not going to do that is because we're talking about dimensions of a room, and I'm not going to get negative dimensions. So 1419 is my width. All right, what are the dimensions? And notice that, so our width that we solved for is 1419, but we do still need to find our length. Fortunately, our length is just 8 plus that, so 8 plus, 14.19 comes out to 22.19. Okay, check my answer key over here. What do we get there? Yep, 14.19 feet and 22.19 feet. We'll finish this off with a label. All right, number 9, factor. 4x cubed plus 12x squared plus x plus 3. I think what I can start off by doing in this is factor by grouping, if at all possible. Looks like I can factor out a 4x squared, leaving me with x plus 3. I can factor a 1 out of the left-hand side, leaving me with x plus 3. Okay, if I multiply that one back in, I'm still going to get x plus 3. So my x plus 3 can come down, okay, here and here. And then I've got 4x squared plus 1. 4x squared plus 1 will actually simplify to 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1, okay, times x plus 3. Okay, because 4x squared plus 1 is a sum difference. But I don't believe so. In any case, what they ended up actually leaving it with, we'll erase this for now. Event that I might be wrong there. Okay, they leave it as 4x squared plus 1 times x plus 3. So they're going to use that as your final answer there. Okay. All right. So that's number 9. Let's look at number 10. Use the unit circle to find the exact value of the trigonomic function tan. Let's see. Let's scroll this down here a little bit. First thing you ought to do with that negative 113 pi over 4 is substitute 180 in for pi and find out how many degrees that's going to be. Do that by doing this. Let's see, clear this guy out. Negative 113 times 180 divided by 4 tells me that we're going to use negative 5,085 degrees. We're going to divide that by 360. Okay, that tells me I'm going to go around. If my coordinate plane is this, that means I'm going to go this direction around that unit, or around that coordinate plane 14 times with 1.25 times left over. So we're going to take that 0.125 And we're going to multiply it by 360 to find out how many degrees that is. And it's 45 degrees, which means I'm going to complete 14 complete rotations and then have another 45 degrees here left over that I'm going to keep going. All right. And if you remember our trigonomic ratios, right, we can figure this out. We know that this is 1. This would be -1 based upon its location. This would be radical 2 because we want the tangent of this, right? We're looking for opposite and adjacent to my reference angle. So that's -1/1, which is just simply -1. -1 is my answer for number 10. Okay. Let's see if we can find number 11. Okay, find the roots of -2x cubed minus 14x squared plus 48x plus 360. It looks like the first thing that I would probably do is factor out a -2 from everything. If we factor out a -2, that's going to leave me with x cubed plus 7x squared, okay, minus 24x, okay, minus 180 equals 0. Okay. If I try to factor out by grouping, we'll see what that looks like. I could take out an x squared. That's going to leave me with x plus 7. Let's see if I can factor. Let's see. See, and because I can't take 24x out, I know I'm not going to get an x plus 7. I can't take 24 out of 180. Actually comes out to 7.5. So the most I can actually do here is get it down to x cubed plus 7x squared minus 24x minus 180. So from here on, there's a bit of a guess and a check portion to it. But I'm looking for things that would go into my first term, which is my coefficient of x cubed, which is 1, and -180. Well, there's a lot of things that will go in there. But unfortunately, like I said, it's kind of a guess and a check type of thing. So we're going to write this up as synthetic division because that's the fastest way to guess and check. 1, 7, -24, -180. Okay. And I'm going to try, at this point, I'm going to try 5. So we got 1. Bring down our 1. 5 times 1 is 5. That's 12. Okay, 5 times 12 is 60. -24 plus 60 is 36. Okay, 5 times 36 is 180. Okay, which leaves me with a remainder of 0. So I know that x minus 5 is a factor. Okay. Okay, we're going to bring this down. This is actually x squared plus 12x plus 36. This is a lot easier to factor because it should be x plus 6, x plus 6. So x plus 6 is a factor twice. X minus 5 is a factor one time. Okay. Okay, it says state the multiplicity of each root. X plus 6 is a, I'll just read what exactly the answer key says. X minus 5 is a factor once. X plus 6 is a factor twice. The root 5 has a multiplicity of 1. The root -6 has a multiplicity of 2. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Sometimes you cannot group it. Sometimes you just have to set up synthetic division and try a couple of different things until you get something where you have a 0 remainder. Okay. 12. Solve cosine theta equals radical 3 minus cosine theta for all real numbers. Give your answer in degrees. Okay. So I'm going to treat this as if it was x equals radical 3 minus x. I'm going to add this x to the other side, that's going to give me 2x equals radical 3, in which case I would divide by 2. So x in this case is cosine theta. So we can say cosine theta equals radical 3 over 2. Okay, in which case I can draw that out. I know that that is adjacent over hypotenuse. So I need my adjacent, which is my x-axis, to be positive. Okay, so I got 2, I got radical 3, which means this is 1, which means this is 30 degrees. Okay, and that's not the only place where I would get a positive radical 3 and a positive 2. I'd also get with a reference angle here. So this is 30 degrees, okay, because it ends right there going this way. But this next one goes all the way around to here, 30 degrees shy, which means it's 330 degrees. So my answer is actually 30 degrees plus 360 times the number of times I would go around, so long as n is an integer, and 330 plus 360 times the number of times I would go around, so long as the n is an integer. Okay? So my answer is there, and you feel free to watch that as many times as you want. Okay, Janet. Let's see. Janet has 6 markers in a backpack. One of them is gray, one is purple. Find the probability that Janet will reach in the backpack without looking. Grab the gray marker, then reach in. Second time, grab the purple marker. Express your answer as a fraction in simplest form. So probability is desired over total. She's got 6 total markers. She's only got 1 that's gray. All right, so she's got a 1 in 6 chance of reaching in, getting that gray marker. But once she's got that gray marker, now there's only 5 markers in the bag, and she wants to grab the purple one. Okay, there's only 1 purple marker that we're told about. Okay, and so we're going to multiply those things. We should get 1 over 30. She's got 1 in 30 chance, and that's our answer, 1 in 30. Okay, 14. Okay, so we've got negative 2, I to the 16th. So the thing to remember here is that 16 is divisible by 4. I to the 4th is 1. So if you have to, you could look at it like this, like negative 2, I, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, where each of these is equal to negative 1. Okay, well, then each of those is 1, and each of those is 1, and each of these is 1, and each of these is 1. And if you've got positive 1 times positive 1 times positive 1 times positive 1, then that's just 1. So you're getting negative 2 times 1, which is negative 2. Okay, hopefully that helps you out there. Answer for 14 is negative 2. 15, negative 7 plus radical x minus 3 equals negative 1. First thing you want to do is you want to isolate your radical. So we're going to add 7 to the other side. So we've got radical x minus 3 equals 6. At this point, we're going to square both sides. So we're going to get x minus 3 equals 36. Okay, add 3. X equals 39. Okay, not too bad. Okay, it gets us halfway through this. 16, 2 snow resorts offer private lessons to their customers. Big Time Ski Mountain charges $5 per hour plus $50 insurance. All right, so that's going to be 5x plus 50. Okay, Powder Hills charges $10 per hour plus $30 insurance. Determine the number of hours for which the cost of lessons is the same for both resorts. Use a graph to find the solution. You could do that. We're just going to find the solution for now. All right, so let's subtract 5x, subtract 30. Okay, that's going to give me 20 equals 5x. Divide by 5. X equals 4 hours. I'm not so concerned with the graph as I am that. Okay, can you tell me 4 hours and show me that work? Okay. If that question shows up on the test, they might give you 4 graphs to pick from. We still need to be able to find the answer. Okay, solve the inequality. In solving the inequality, the first thing we want to do is isolate the isolate the absolute value. So we're going to add 6. Okay, x minus 9 is less than what looks like 4. Okay, that's fine. Now I need to break it into 2 equations. X minus 9 is less than 4, or x minus 9 is greater than negative 4. Okay, add 9. X is less than 13. Add 9. X is greater than 5. Okay, so if this is 0, let's make this 5. Let's make this 13. Let's set this up so that we see X is greater than 5, less than 13. Both open circles. Goes right in between there. Okay. All right. Number 18. Give me a second here. Alright, for this question we're going to use our graphing calculator, or you can go the long way around it if you don't have one. That's why I've recommended you guys getting one. Alright, we're going to hit Stat. We want to edit our list. Okay, and we're going to input all of our data here. So we got 96, enter, 53, enter, 41, enter, 37, enter, 42, enter, 41, enter, 69, 57, 50. Okay, I'm going to hit Stat. Let's see, what do we want here? We want one variable statistics because we want to get all of that data. My mean is 54. Let's see, because it's going to say find the, let's see what all it wants us to find the mean. Okay, so our mean is 54. Now for median and mode, we come down here. Median is 50. Okay. And for mode, you could probably just find it. You should see that it's going to be 41. Actually, Q1 there shows up as 41. That's my mode. 41. I don't think anything else ever repeats. So first thing you want to see is mean is this X with the line over it. That's my 54. Okay. Median is going to show up MED 50. Mode you should be able to find just by looking at it. Okay. I'll check our answer key, just make sure we didn't miss anything on that. Mean 54, median 50, mode 41. All right, we'll move on from there. 19, you see this kind of goes back. We're rolling back through information that we've covered at this point. Okay, distribute the 6, distribute the negative 3. Okay, so we can do this relatively quickly. 6t minus 12 equals negative 3t plus 18 minus 7t. 6t minus 12 equals negative 10t plus 18. Okay, combine like terms. I would add the 10t. I would add the 12. Okay, so it's going to give you 16t equals what looks to me like 30. So t equals 30 over 16. Looks like all of that can reduce. That could be 15 over 8. I believe that's our answer. And it is. That's number 19. All right, next one, classify the system, determine the number of solutions. I would set this up as a matrix. Let's see. And let's see what we get. And this is a good question because it's a little different than what you normally see. Okay, let's go second matrix. Okay, this is another 2 by 3, so we're going to edit it. We're going to leave it as a 2 by 3. We're going to change our numbers in here, 9, -2, 13. Okay. 10, -45, -65. We're going to hit second, let's see, we're going to hit second mode. Nope. Okay, second matrix. We're going to RREF to see if we find solutions here. Second matrix A. All right, so we get kind of a complicated answer, but notice that I get the exact same answer for my X and my Y. What we're seeing here is that we're seeing that the system is consistent, independent, has infinitely many solutions because it's the same, they're the same line. 9x minus 2y equals 13 is the same as 10y minus 45x equals -65. If you reduce these into y-intercept form, you'd see that they were the same line, and that's where you would get that infinitely many solutions. If they're the same line, it's going to be consistent dependent, just so you're aware of that. And that's what that would look like in an RREF form of the equation. All right, let's look at number 21. Okay, the first thing we want to do is isolate the absolute value. We do that by dividing by -3 because it's technically multiplying. So I'm getting 7 plus 4x is equal to -14 divided by -3. Okay, which is just 14/3. Okay. Let's see, we would subtract 7. So we got 4x equals, and let's subtract 7 out of that. Comes out to 7/3, -7/3. I believe 14/3 minus 7 comes out to -7/3. Okay. All right, we're going to divide that by 4. Okay, our answer comes out to -7/12. Okay, but this is only half the solution because the other thing we need to do is we need to do, let's see, let's do it in red so we can see the difference. 7 plus 4x is equal to -14/3. So we're going to subtract 7 from -14/3. And we get -35/3 divided by 4. And we get -35/12. So we're going to say this or this, and they want that graphed. And so let's see, if we look at this, this is where you probably want to plug these in as decimals to kind of see where they wind up. So here's 1, -1, -2, -3, -4, something like that. All right. Well, they're going to end up being about here. Let's see. And probably right around in here. Okay, like I said, plug those in as decimals and see where they would fit on that number line. Those are your two answers, this or this. You can tell I kind of have a cold, so whenever I get a cold, I stop caring about some of the finer details in this. All right, determine if the graph is continuous or discontinuous. First off, it is continuous. There are no breaks or pauses in it. Is it a function? Yes, it passes the vertical line test, so it's a function, not a relation. Domain and range, this is a little different than the other one we looked at. Our domain is the set of x values that it contains. It's going to go on forever, left and right. So we're going to say all real. But our range is our y values. So you'll notice that it is, y equals, let's see, -3. That's it. It doesn't go anywhere else. Okay, so our range is y equals -3. Okay, continuous function. I think you got all of that. Okay, 23. Data 10.5 or 10.8.565 represents random sample of days absent from the school for 5. Find the mean and the standard deviation of the data. All right, so we're going to go back to our stat list. Okay, stat. Let's see, let's edit our list. I'm going to show you what I think is the easier way to do this. 8, 5, 6, 5, and you have all this other data that we're going to hit delete, 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 delete. Okay, you can go through and you can clear the list, but I think it's easier to do it this way. I'm going to hit stat, and we're going to look at one variable statistics. Okay, so my mean, okay, find the mean, is 6.8. Okay, let's find, and my standard deviation is this 1.94 down here. So this circle with this 1.94. Okay, you can round it up to the nearest hundredth. All right. All right, going back to some of the questions we saw like this before. We can't divide by a fraction, we can multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to rewrite this as 3x to the fourth, 4x cubed y times reciprocal 4y cubed over 9. 3 times 4 is 12, x to the fourth y cubed. Let's see, 4 times 9 is 36, x cubed y. Let's see, 12 divided by 36 is 1/3. So we aren't really going to need that 1 up there. We're going to move our, oh gosh. Let's try to do this again. We're going to move this guy up, and when we do that, x cubed is going to become the -3rd. So we're going to rewrite that as just x because 4 minus 3 is 1. We're going to move this y up. So we got y to the third times y to the -1, which is going to leave me with just y squared. So my answer is going to be xy squared over 3. Okay. Number 25, we've seen questions like this a lot. Identify the perpendicular lines. So let's make a note. Perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. All right. I know right off the bat that 1 and 3 are going to be perpendicular because this is horizontal. This is vertical. Okay, because x equals is vertical, y equals with no other slope is horizontal. Horizontal and vertical lines are perpendicular. This line number 2 is already in the proper form. We just have to check this. Now, that's the only thing that's going to affect slope right there is that -4 times x. So I know that this slope here is going to be -4x. Because -4x and +1/4 are opposite reciprocals, okay, I know that lines 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 are perpendicular lines. Okay, 26. Okay, multiply by the conjugate. So we're going to multiply by, sorry, let's clean that up. Radical 3 plus radical 2 over radical 3 plus radical 2. This is going to be 8 radical 3 plus 8 radical 2. Down here, we're going to, radical 3 times radical 3 is 3. Negative radical 2 times negative radical 2 is negative 2. 8 radical 3 plus 8 radical 2 over 1 is going to be 8 radical 3 plus 8 radical 2. If you cannot show me the denominator and how that works, you will get that wrong. Okay? Don't just assume that it's the numerator times the conjugate of the denominator, and then you're done. It doesn't always work that way. Okay, so you got to show me the complete work. 27. They want you to solve by completing a square. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take negative 12, divide it by 2, and square it. So it's going to leave me with x squared minus 12x. Okay. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. Okay. So that's going to leave me here with x minus 6, x minus 6. So that's x minus 6 squared equals 16. Okay. All right, so we are going to square root both sides. That's going to leave me with x minus 6 equals positive or negative 4, because we are square rooting the left-hand side to square root the right-hand side. Okay, and then we're going to add 6. So x equals 6 plus or minus 4, which means I've got two real answers that I can get out of there. 6 minus 4 is 2. 6 plus 4 is 10, so I can get 2 or 10. Let's see, let me check my answers there. 10 or 2 is my answers. Okay, so that's how we solve by completing the square on number 27. Number 28, let's first see if we can factor by grouping. Okay, looks like I can take out an x squared. That's going to leave me with x plus 5. Okay, next thing I want to see is will 16 go into 80? Preferably, let's see, will negative 80 divide by negative 16? And yes, it does by 5. So we're going to take out a negative 16. We're left with x plus 5 there. So I have x squared minus 16, okay, and x plus 5. Looks like x squared minus 16 would be a sum difference of x minus 4, x plus 4, and then I've got my x plus 5. Okay, so my factors there, x plus 5, x plus 4, x plus 4. All right, number 29, convert radians to degrees. So that's 8 times 180 divided by 9. 8 times 180 is 1440 divided by 9 equals 160 degrees. Okay, number 29, 160 degrees. Finally, number 30. Use the unit circle to find the exact value of the trigonomic ratio cosine 225 degrees. Okay. This is my initial side. 225 degrees is going to go counterclockwise. This is 90 degrees. This is 180. This is 270. So at 225, I am down here. I need to find out what my reference angle is. How many degrees past 180 have I gone? So I can take 225 minus 180. Appears that I've gone 45 degrees past 180. Okay. So I know that this is negative 1. I know this is negative 1 based upon position because it should be 1, 1. And this is radical 2 because we're looking for cosine. I'm looking for adjacent, which is this guy right here, over hypotenuse, radical 2. I can't leave it like that, so I have to multiply by radical 2 over radical 2. My answer is negative radical 2 over 2. Negative radical 2 over 2. And those are my answers. If you got questions, please ask. Hopefully you'll get this in enough time to watch it several times before your test. All right, thanks.